There's a big integrity test coming for the O'Farrell government and its oversight body, the Police Integrity Commission. It concerns an old wound, bitterly hurt feelings among many senior police with unblemished service records and the integrity of the system itself. The current inspector of the Police Integrity Commission, David Levine QC, has been asked by the government to consider the public release of what's called the Emblems report into the alleged abuse of covert surveillance search warrants dating back 12 years. The warrants, some regularly reissued with the approval of judges, named 114 serving and former police and some civilians. Many want a judicial inquiry to clear the air. What's all this about?
It's been secret for 10 years. It's been suppressed by successive state governments, and when you read it, you can understand why they wanted to suppress it. You know, it casts into doubt the role of Special Crime and Internal Affairs, the New South Wales Crime Commission, the Police Integrity Commission, and it casts questions on the judiciary of the Supreme Court of New South Wales. It's little wonder they don't want this out.
This is the contentious affidavit leaked to veteran Sydney crime reporter Neil Mercer of the Sun Herald. Under the name of an officer attached to the New South Wales Crime Commission, it lists dozens of names and in marked paragraphs describes the evidentiary leads and raw intelligence the officer relied on to persuade a Supreme Court judge in 2000 to approve listening device warrants. In an operation said to be needed to expose police corruption, an already self-confessed corrupt police officer, codenamed M5, a registered Crime Commission informant, was wired for sound for 2.5 years and tried to engage his targets in private conversations.
This is the affidavit which was presented to Virginia Bell in the New South Wales Supreme Court. And as you can see, Quentin, dozens and dozens and dozens of names on it. In fact, there's 114 names on this particular document. Some of them deserve to be there. There's dozens who should never have been on this document, and you come down to people. You look at this, Ken Mackay, he's now an Assistant Commissioner. No reason why he should be on this document. You come over the page, again, dozens of names, and you look down here, Nick Caldas, he's now the Deputy New South Wales Commissioner. No reason why he should be on the document. Respected detectives, Wayne Hayes, respected detective, no reason why he should be there.
Neil Mercer and his police sources have analysed the names.
The warrant names about 114 serving and former police and a couple of civilians. Basically, 6 police out of that 114 to jail. Fair enough, there's no question. Some of those names, some of those people on that warrant were corrupt. I think about another 8 police left the police force. But really, the vast majority, it appears there is no legitimate reason why they were on that warrant. Even an internal New South Wales Police investigation into it said in their view that at least 54 of those 114 names should not have been on that warrant. There was no legitimate reason why they should have been there, no proof. And what I've been told, Quentin, is that some of them were there for people as get squares, personal vendettas, and that some of the names on that warrant were there on 3rd, 4th, 5th-hand hearsay.
Covert operations using listening devices under the code name Mascot did gather probative evidence of corruption, but some innocent police became suspicious when they were visited by M5 on various pretexts. This was the era after the 1990s Wood Royal Commission had established endemic corruption existed within the force. That commission was successful largely because of covert surveillance. In 2002, police corruption involving the drug trade on Sydney's northern beaches was sensationally exposed, again through successful covert surveillance in a joint agency operation called Florida. But in 2004, following complaints from the Police Association and some of the accused officers with unblemished service records named in the affidavit, then Police Commissioner Ken Moroney established Strike Force Emblems to inquire into the alleged criminal misuse of the warrants. Emblems, overseen by senior police investigators, reported with recommendations for further investigation on the 25th of August 2005. Now, this is what all the fuss is about. This is the Emblems report. Investigators say they are unable to complete their inquiries into the contentious affidavit because of the secrecy provisions of the New South Wales Crime Commission, which prevented interviews and evidence from all officers oversighting and conducting the M5 covert surveillance operation. But Key Finding 6 said,
"It is the opinion of Taskforce investigators, based on limited material reviewed and those persons interviewed, that there is an overwhelming inference to indicate criminal allegations in that the subject affidavit may contain false information and there has been an abuse of due process."
Strikeforce Emblems recommended the removal of the Crime Commission secrecy provisions to the extent necessary so that a thorough investigation could be completed. 7 years later, no action has been taken on the Emblems recommendation. Now the leaking of the affidavit and other material to the print media has re-agitated the hurt. At stake seems to be the standing of current Deputy Commissioner Nick Caldis, in line for the top job when Commissioner Andrew Scipione retires soon. Also affected is another potential commissioner, current Deputy Commissioner Kath Byrne. Deputy Commissioner Byrne was once a part of the Special Crime Unit which oversaw the covert operations with other agencies. It's been reported she has sought an investigation into the leaking of material to Neil Mercer and others. Tell us who leaked it to you.
Well, you know I'm not going to tell you that, and never would.
In May this year, Premier Barry O'Farrell, as Minister now responsible for the Police Integrity Commission, wrote to David Levine QC, part-time inspector of the PIC.
I would respectfully request you consider whether the Emblems report could be publicly released in its entirety. The New South Wales Government is committed to openness and transparency, but we understand the necessity of balancing public interest against procedural fairness and the importance of not prejudicing any potential legal action or investigation.
David Levine declined our request for an on-camera interview. We'd like to post our copy of the Emblems report and other relevant documents on our website to let some sun shine onto this dispute, but on legal advice we can't. Greens MLC David Shoebridge said he'd consider tabling appropriately redacted documents under parliamentary privilege if the government did not act soon.
This ongoing controversy is putting in question the faith of senior police and the faith of the public. We need to have someone cut through. At the moment, we've got the Police Integrity Commission, the Crime Commission, Internal Affairs, all potentially involved in the matters under inquiry. None of them can conduct an independent inquiry. We need an independent judicial inquiry to cut through.
The usually camera-friendly Minister for Police, Mike Gallagher, declined to be interviewed. Opposition police spokesman and former Premier Nathan Rees says Emblems was problematic for the former government because its release could identify informants who'd fingered the corrupt. But if such sensitive operational information could be excluded...
I think it's in the interest of the public that this document now be released.
More leaks and complaints are coming, we're told. Such is the anger within the New South Wales Police Force that this dead cat, as it's been called by senior police, will continue to stink up the policing of this state until the air is cleared. Over to you, Mr. Levine.